What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to ForTheFans for the 18th of January 2016 and this week's second show. In today's show, we discuss the Chelsea-Everton game. John Terry scored a controversial equaliser as Chelsea snatched away a draw. Liverpool lost in the Northwest Derby. We also have the return of Ben's features. And of course, it wouldn't be a ForTheFans show if we didn't discuss Charlie Austin's transfer to Southampton. Let's get right into the show.
Hello there, listeners. Welcome back to ForTheFans show with me, your host with the most, Dr. NGFM, also known as Ben. As ever, I'm joined by Jack and Keno. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm good. I've been warned the features are back this week. It's no longer a question. So
the features back.
I've been warming up. I've been limbering up before we've recorded.
It's back to the bad old days.
I'm ready.
Good.
Hey, these are days that people cherished and still remember. So yes, as ever, gentlemen, you don't know what the feature is this week, do you?
No idea, Jack.
I've heard it's good.
It is good. Okay, so what we're going to do, it's a versus match, and each question has 2 points on the line. Now, there is a TV show that does something similar to this, but I've gone out and done my own research and prepared some questions. So it's essentially, I will say either names of teams or players, or I will link 4 words. You have to tell me which the next one in the sequence is. And then you can tell me what that is, and then the link, or what the next thing in the sequence is. Like what? I mean, would you like an example?
Yes, please, Jack.
Just to clear this up. So, for example, we could do Tottenham, Manchester City, Manchester United, West Ham. What comes next? Okay. Now, obviously, you'd have to have a little think about that. The correct answer is Arsenal. And what is
the league table?
No, it's the table that Jack's predicted for the end of the season.
Oh, right. That's quite. I don't know the table.
I mean, this is going to be tricky now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just an example. That's just an example of what we're doing. So
Okay.
when I say it's the best feature, so okay, away we go. Okay, the list is this: Vladimir Smicer, Harry Kewell, Robbie Keane, Luis Suarez. What's next?
Christian Benteke.
No. Jack?
Steven Gerrard.
No.
I think it's to do with sales.
Vladimir
Oh no, it's
Smicer,
Andy Carroll.
Harry Kewell, Robbie Keane, Luis Suarez. Next on the list is
Andy Carroll.
Incorrect. No one gets a point. I wasn't expecting
I
this.
thought it's ascending order of
Okay,
price.
there's still
what is
point.
it?
There's still going to be a point available. The correct answer is James Milner. What's the link?
Number 7s.
Point to Callum Keane. Liverpool number 7s.
Yes.
1 point. Disappointing, Jack.
I don't know why I said Benteke. I thought number 9 at first because you said Suarez and then.
Yeah. Right.
I don't like this feature.
Stoke, West Ham, Manchester United, Tottenham, Manchester City. Next is
Arsenal?
no.
I'm not sure what this link is at all.
Keno?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think he's given us there.
Right. The correct answer is Leicester. What's the link?
The league table excluding the top team.
Is it the form league table?
Nah, I'll give you that. The correct answer is the up to Leicester. It's the league table in order, going upwards. But never mind.
So when I said Arsenal, I was on the right trend. I just had the team as top, not second.
Yeah, right. I think it's about to get a little bit easier, gentlemen. Okay.
Good.
Okay. Well, I hope so because this has been a nightmare so far.
Well, for you two. Okay. Avram Grant, Big Phil Scolari,
Ooh.
Ray Wilkins, Gus Hiddink, Carlo Ancelotti. Who's next?
No.
Jose Mourinho.
Incorrect.
Yeah, I
Callum
thought so.
Keane,
I stopped
with
myself.
the chance to steal. He's baited Jack.
I
into saying
baited-
Jose Mourinho.
I know who it is. Can I come in?
I
No,
baited
you had
Jack
your
in.
answer.
Is it Robbie Di Matteo?
Incorrect.
It is no. Ooh, now I'm a bit.
The correct answer, don't say. Although if you know, like you don't get the point, but you can happily say if you think you know.
Oh, I know what it is.
Go on.
Can I say it?
Rafa Benitez.
AVB.
The correct answer is Andre Villas-Boas, and the link is
Chelsea managers.
In order.
In order.
I mean, I'm not sure you're going to get that one, folks. I would give you it because I think Jack did know.
I did say AVB.
It's an order in which Chelsea managers were appointed and fired.
I don't like this quiz so far. It's too hard.
It's fine. Okay. Italy, Brazil, Germany, France, the Netherlands. What's next? If you're at home, I bet you're loving this quiz feature.
I know who it. I know that Argentina.
Correct. And the link is...
Yes.
That's good. I don't know what it is.
Loses in World Cup finals.
Correct, Jack.
That's
2
great.
points.
Can I have 2 points for that? Is that what?
So all of a sudden it's a good feature, is it, Jack?
Yeah.
Great feature, love it. Best feature we've ever had.
Okay, well done, Jack. I appreciate it. Okay. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Barcelona. Who's next?
Chelsea.
Incorrect.
I know what the trend is.
Say it again, sorry.
Oh, I didn't ask for it to be
Okay,
repeated.
you get it in lower speech. Barca, Real, Bayern, Chelsea, Barca. 3, 2, 1.
Inter
Answer.
Milan.
Correct.
Yes.
And the link
I was
is
just counting
Champions
backwards.
League winners.
Yeah. Champions League.
I mean, I'll give Keenan the point, and then I'll consider it null and void because I think you both knew the link in the end. So it won't matter if you didn't know it.
So
right,
1 point
next.
to me.
Nicholas Anelka, Didier Drogba, Dimitar Berbatov, Robin van Persie, Luis Suarez. Who's next?
Diego Costa.
No.
Incorrect.
Oh, who?
Oh, I know what the trend is.
I know what it's top scorers, is it not, Ben?
It is, Callum.
And I'm not sure what who it was last year.
I'm going to have to remove the points for what the topic is, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so who's next?
Who was the top scorer in the Premier League last year?
Who was it?
Oh, I can't believe it's not Costa.
Was it Sergio? No. Harry Kane.
Correct answer is Sergio Aguero with 26
Stop
goals.
myself, I was going to say.
I mean, heartbreak there.
Harry Kane had 21. But yeah, Sergio Aguero. And Nicholas Anelka. Surprising, isn't it? 19 goals he got.
Not quite recently as well, actually.
So, no points there for anyone. Okay. Blackpool, Swansea, West Ham United, Crystal Palace, Queen's Park Rangers. Who's next?
Hull City.
Incorrect.
Who got promoted last year? Leicester came up with QPR. Bournemouth.
Incorrect. The correct
winners.
answer is Norwich City.
Hey.
It's playoff winners, isn't it?
It's playoff winners.
Knew it.
Jack, I'm going to give you the point there because you said playoff winners.
What?
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was winners or
I think
playoff winners.
it's a bit of a free for all when it comes to answering.
Okay.
There are no rules.
No.
Just give points as you please.
I accepted the fact that there are no rules.
I'm the jury at this point, so I will dictate who gets points for whatever it is. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Everton, Manchester City, West Bromwich Albion. What's next? Wolves, Everton, Man City, West Brom. This is very abstract.
Jolien Lescott's clubs. Bang. Aston Villa. There you go.
2 points to Callum Keane.
What the hell? What?
That is amazing. Can I just say that, Kino, you get an extra point for that.
Only a Villa fan is ever going to know that one. Only a Villa fan.
Jack, can I just clarify to Jack, who's annoyed, listeners? Smeesa, Kuehl, Keane, Suarez.
I don't think that was that obvious.
Okay, I think it probably was.
It wasn't obvious.
Rob,
I can't believe Callum Keane has got that one. Right, we'll move on.
not happy.
Unbelievable.
Not happy.
The current scores: Kino has 3 points. Kino has 5 points. Jack has 3 points. Okay, next.
I
I
only
think I
have
take
3.
the game.
I
with
want
that
a
answer.
recount here.
Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United. Who's next?
Leicester.
No.
He's already said Leicester.
Yeah, he has. For some reason, I thought it was teams top at Christmas. Leicester weren't top at
Everton-
Christmas back in 2010.
Everton, Leicester,
Everton.
City, United.
No. Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester City, then Manchester United. Who's next?
I mean, I've had a mare
I'm not
here.
sure.
I'm gonna
Teams
give you the
who
correct
Chelsea
answer.
have played. I don't know.
The correct answer is Newcastle United. Now, what's the link? Now, you can have a point for the link here.
Might be kind of... It can't be in goal scoring order because United haven't scored many.
Was it Mourinho's last games in charge or Chelsea's?
No,
No.
It's not.
Can you just say them again? Sorry, the list.
You get 5 seconds after I say them, okay?
Okay, I'm ready on the clock.
Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Newcastle United.
Norwich.
Well, no, because I gave you Newcastle, didn't I? That was the one you had to guess. I mean, Jack...
I know what it is! You can tell I know what it is.
Go on, then.
It's alphabetical order of the Premier League
Correct.
clubs.
Oh, well
It's
done.
alphabetical
I know that.
order.
It is.
Stick. That's why I said Norwich, because Norwich was the next club after Newcastle.
Hashtag great feature.
Can I just say, the only reason I know those orders is from sticker books gone
When you
by.
said it, I
have
knew
all
you
the
knew,
clubs.
but you were just such a clown. Right, okay.
I've forgotten. Short-term
Here we go
memory
again.
loss.
John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Kenny Sansom, Billy Wright, Ashley Cole. Who's next?
Wayne Rooney.
Incorrect.
Is it to do with England?
I mean,
Players who have got 100 appearances for
yeah.
England. I genuinely don't know. I'll go with David Beckham. But I have no clue.
the correct answer is Bobby Moore.
Ooh.
What is the link?
England captains?
Going back that far? Goes from Ashley Cole to...
John Terry, Rio Ferdinand,
Billy
Gary
Wright.
Neville,
Billy
Kenny
Wright's the
Sampson,
oldest one there.
Billy Wright,
nice.
Ashley Cole, Bobby Moore.
Oh, that's tough. It's to
Is
do
there
with
a number
England,
of
but I don't
caps
know
for
exactly
England
I
in
can't.
ascending order?
I'm not going to give you the points, but Bobby Moore is the most capped English defender,
what. Oh,
and they're all defenders.
I thought the defenders was a trend.
it's a good one. I like that question. Not as much as Jolyon Lescott's former clubs.
No, you should got that one right. Okay, next. Xavi, Iniesta, Ribéry, Manuel Neuer. Who's next? Great feature this week. I can tell the listeners are loving it.
This is. I hope they're enjoying playing along because this is really making us think. It's good.
Yeah.
My brain hurts.
Xavi,
Have the list again.
Xavi, Iniesta, Franck Ribéry, Manuel Neuer. Who's next?
Oh, is it... Can't be this.
If you can give me the person first before the topic.
Guardiola captains.
No.
It's a great guess.
It's not a bad guess, actually. It's not a bad guess.
See, I was thinking captains.
I don't know why Xavi would be...
Ribéry
Why
is...
would Xavi be twice
to be fair there, Jack, you didn't give me who was next, so I'm still annoyed that you tried to break the rules.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, I still got a guess on that front.
Yeah.
And I know it's not that.
I'm not sure. This
Philip
one,
Lahm.
I feel it's close.
All right, the correct
Lahm's a
answer
good guess as well.
is Neymar. What's the link?
Players
I
he
know
voted
it.
for in the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Well, don't just say I know it. Let's
Well,
have
no,
it.
because Jack
Players
was...
that Guardiola voted for in the Ballon d'Or.
No, it's the ones who finished third in the Ballon d'Or behind with Ronaldo and Messi.
Callum Keane is correct.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I have no idea why Guardiola's on my mind here and he had to be in the answer.
You are technically wrong. In that first year, Ronaldo wasn't actually voted for. It was Messi, Iniesta, Xavi. But yes, you are correct. Okay, next.
How many more are there here? Sorry, I just need
about
to know.
6.
Excellent.
God.
I can still catch up. That's what matters.
England, Belgium and Holland, Portugal, Austria and Switzerland, Poland and Ukraine, France.
France.
No,
Who's
no.
The whole of Europe.
Yes.
I mean,
Well done, Jack.
It's a trick question. It's
I'll
host
give you
to
it.
the
I'll
Euros.
give you it, Jack. That is correct.
And it
It's
is
the
the
host of the Euros. The correct phrase is pan-European, but I will take your answer.
It's they've basically gone, yeah, everyone has it this year. Can't be bothered to go through that voting shit because it's always corrupt anyway.
What do we think of that
Right,
idea?
everyone has it.
Or is
Awful, but we'll come on to it during the Euros, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Ranieri, Allardyce, Klopp, Guard, Curtis. Who's next?
I know the answer to this one.
Then please share it with us.
I thought I knew it. Is it Hiddink?
Correct. What's the link?
Premier League managers that have been appointed this year, kind of in chronological order from
Correct.
oldest to most
Well done,
recent.
Jack.
That's 2 points. And I should say, with 1 to go, it's Jack has 7 points.
Oh.
Keno with 6.
Oh,
As we go into that, 2 points are available. If you try and tell me what the link is before the player name, I'm going to be angry.
Okay.
So don't mess it
Okay,
up.
I'm going to concentrate this
Okay.
time. It's a difficult task.
Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Luis Suarez, Jimmy Rod. Who's next?
Is it? It's got to be Messi.
No, it's not. But I don't know what the one below it is.
Incorrect.
I know.
No.
I know what it is. Can I say what it is?
Well,
It's. Can I
Well,
take
you
a guess
can.
at the player and then quickly go on to that?
yes.
Zinedine Zidane.
Right. Incorrect.
Is it La Liga transfer fees?
No.
I'm not sure.
Wouldn't Figo be up there if
Jack
that
still
was
has
the
a
case?
guess.
Well, yeah, but
Jack still has a guess
I was
here.
thinking that, but Zidane is more than Figo, or was at the time.
The correct answer, unbelievably, is Anthony Martial.
What is
World
the link there?
World transfer
Oh,
fees?
European. No, it'll be European Golden Boys.
What's that?
Wait,
I mean,
what's that mean?
no one gets any points. The correct answer is highest transfer
Highest
fees.
transfer fee. I knew it was to do with the transfer fee.
So it does in fact mean
Jack's
because
pitching.
I've won.
Because you
I've
took away
done
my Jack
something.
predictions from the Christmas special one away because I had to give you a clue one. Jack on 7 points is this week's winner. Can we get a round of applause? This is not a clap sync. Well done.
I mean, I feel undeserved, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Do I get to make a speech? Is that?
No, because actually, Jack,
after that.
your like award for winning is to explain to us how your prediction from last week's show of Austin to Chelsea, then Austin to Arsenal, then definitely a move to a London club has turned out for Southampton's Charlie Austin. Away you go.
Well, what's happened is I closed my eyes before the show last week and I saw
You drew back the
red and-
curtains.
I saw red and white and I thought, well, it's got to be Arsenal. It's got to be. Turns out it was Southampton. So my vision was right. I just, I interpreted it wrong, and that's on me.
That is on you. That was quite a nice, succinct way of saying I got it wrong. But yeah, Charlie Austin has moved to Southampton for £4 million. The campaign is not over.
It's not over because they'll.
Charlie Austin to France 2016 is the new campaign.
And when he gets into trouble at Southampton when he doesn't score enough goals, the campaign will reignite. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could start with Southampton, but it's not part of the running order. And this week, gentlemen, we've got an actual running order that we're going to try and stick to.
Instructions
After
from
last
me
week's-
before
after
the
last
show.
week's shenanigans. Yeah. So shall we kick off with what was one of the more entertaining games of the weekend? It was Chelsea 3, Everton 3, and a last-minute offside back-heeled goal by John Terry saved Hiddings' blushes.
Everyone's least favourite Premier League player, John Terry.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I don't necessarily. I think John Terry's a bit of a knob off the pitch, but actually, if you he does quite a lot of charity stuff, and he does do quite a lot of good stuff off the pitch. He's not my most hated for that reason. If you look into it, he's not actually a complete dick.
Allegedly,
just a little bit of a dick.
Allegedly.
What about the stuff he did off the field when he had an affair? Or
People have done that before. Lewis Grabham.
What about when he pissed in
Bradley Johnson.
What about when he pissed in a nightclub in a plant pot?
Yeah, Gary Lineker shat on the floor during a football match.
Explicit.
Yeah.
Note that down. But no, in all seriousness, Chelsea have got away with one. Roberto Martinez not pleased with the final decision.
So, technically, I mean, it was very controversial, and Everton quite rightly just frustrated.
It was offside.
Number one, it was offside. It shouldn't really be the time limit that people are complaining about, because when Funes Mori scored that goal, it was just over 90 minutes. We were into stoppage time, and it took him about a minute to get extracted from the crowd by the stewards. So,
yeah,
quite rightly, a couple.
I love the word extracted.
Yeah, they did. They picked him up and pulled him out of the crowd, and so quite.
I like to believe they could have accidentally extracted like a fan by mistake and left him there.
Just a fan in an Everton shirt, a full kit wanker, just pulled him onto the pitch.
That would have been. I'd have liked that. And all of a sudden, Jackie Elker's looking across, going, "Hold on a minute, where's Funes Mori?"
But
maybe that's why they conceded.
On his way out, he grabbed Funes Mori's weird headband and just put it on, just to make sure that everyone knew who he was.
Yeah, I'd have liked that. But in all seriousness, this is the second time this has happened to Everton. I think we can all clarify. We can all say it was definitely offside.
To just conclude that, it wasn't the time; it was the offside, which was really bad.
Yeah.
He was a good yard
offside.
offside.
It's a time limit thing as well. Like, it's a minimum of X amount of minutes.
Exactly.
I think it's a minimum of 30 seconds for a goal or a substitution.
And also,
I meant more so when it's announced, it's like there will be a minimum of 7 minutes.
The referee can. I think there's a slight misconception. I don't know why, that once those added minutes are up, people can time waste as much as they like and it won't matter. But the referee does reserve the right to add any more time on. So to that extent, it wasn't bad.
And as I kind of brought up, this is the second time Everton have over-celebrated in the 90th minute and been caught. Of course, it happened to Bournemouth not that long ago.
Exactly.
When Bournemouth got a late goal to equalise as well. And Everton are a team I don't think we've actually really spoken about all that much, because I think we're all relatively impressed by them, and everyone's got the same opinion that we quite like Everton. We quite like the Lukaku, Deulofeu situation going on there. We like the fact that they're looking quite creative in the middle as well. But the big issue is for Everton is they sit in 11th place.
It's a classic
odd.
Martinez problem, in the sense that everyone can appreciate the fantastic football they play. They have great attacking players. They're very, very easy on the eye. They do come up with some great performances and results, particularly away from home. But the problem is not so much that they... I think with Martinez this year, it's not so much about how bad the defence is. I don't think the defence is poor. It's more about like game...
Got a new defender coming in.
Exactly, and it's more about game management. Like when they go ahead, very, very easily they can give away 3 points, and it was quite obvious that this was the case against Chelsea. If they could just learn to hang on to results a bit easier, they would have... I mean, I don't have the numbers about how many points they've lost from winning positions.
But I'd be interested to know, though.
I mean, we're probably bottom for that. But I mean, no, actually, no, we've not been ahead. But yeah, I feel like they lose a lot of games from very good positions, and I think that is sort of the way Martinez is. I'm not sure if he can change that. It's a difficult thing to change in sort of the mentality of the manager and the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think aside from beating Newcastle on Boxing Day, they haven't won since beating Villa.
1 in 9.
On the 21st. In the league, at least, anyway.
1 in 9 in the league.
Which, I think if you're Everton fans and Everton players, that is nowhere near where you're expecting to be at this point in the season. I don't know. I don't think Martinez's job's at risk, but where's the... Like you mentioned that they go ahead and they fall behind a lot. Is that the fault of the players? Is there not a good enough spine there keeping control of a game? What is it, Jack?
Oh, go on, Jack.
Either.
I mean, go for it, Jack.
Sorry, what was the question?
Okay, no, I'll do it instead.
You've thrown me off there.
I think just quickly, Jack can think about what he's going to say before. I think it's not...
Still a good question, but I think...
They obviously have the personnel to put teams away, but I think it is a mentality thing. I think it's the way that Martinez tells his teams to play from the 1st to the 90th minute. I'm not sure that... it's something, like I say, I'm not sure it's something that he can change. It's just the way he is. But there must be some small changes that they can make as a team to sort of, when they go ahead, to just sort of dumb it down slightly the way they play, just to make sure that a team can't get back into it.
Well, on the flip side of this, Jack, we've got Chelsea, who have just drawn at home to West Brom and Everton back-to-back games.
they're gonna be delighted. 2 teams above them that they've taken points away from. Loving it.
This year at least, they've beaten Palace, they've beaten Scunthorpe in the FA Cup, and they're 2 home draws, which I think Hiddink would come in and look at and go, that could be 9 points from my first 3 Premier League games. And it's not. It's 5 points. And Chelsea are still in a position of 14th place in the league table, and we're in the middle of January.
I kind of feel like people have forgotten about Chelsea. I feel like when Mourinho was there, because he's such a character and because he's like this big name, people kind of, I don't know, you always want to like know how Mourinho is doing each week. Whereas I think Hiddink, he's escaping perhaps from the criticisms that Mourinho, for example, would be getting for this kind of game. I mean, Chelsea, very good defensive team, but to concede 3 goals against Everton, I think I think most Chelsea fans would agree that's not great, even in this kind of season.
I agree with that.
And to rely on the kind of point that they did, the kind of goal that they did, just to get a point as well.
But what's the job? What's Hiddink's job, do you think? What do you think Abramovich has told Gus Hiddink to do?
Well, this is the weird thing, because he's an interim manager, is he not? Just to the end of the year, is that?
6 months.
Like, he's not going to get Europe. He's not. I'm sorry, I'm telling you now, Chelsea fans, I can't see you getting top 4. What's the points difference? 14 points they are away with 16 games left.
This season,
that's going to take a serious collapse.
This season,
I mean, even this year, the Europa League could be away from them unless they can win the FA Cup.
I feel like the Hiddink appointment was more of a...
Sorry, Chiquino. Jack, they made it through the Champions League. It's all right. They can't get into the Europa League, but I see what you're saying.
Yes, that's true.
Sorry, I meant for next year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
So they have to win the FA Cup.
Yeah. I feel like the Hiddink appointment with Chelsea is more... yes, he's a stable. He'll make the team quite stable, and they're not going to get relegated or anything like that because
it's damage control, right?
Yeah, and as this season, it's damage control off the pitch as much as on the pitch because, like Jack said, if you compare the two characters of Hiddink and Mourinho, I feel like when Mourinho was in charge, because he's such a big name, people were almost setting him up to see him fall. And at any time that would happen, which this season has been quite frequently, the story was huge because it was Mourinho and he talks such a big game. Whereas Hiddink is almost the polar opposite of that. He is very sort of reserved. He doesn't sort of overload the media with confidence pre-game. So he doesn't see, he manages the expectations. I think he does that really well at Chelsea.
He's quite a boring manager.
He is,
compared to Mourinho,
and that is exactly why they've appointed him in this write-off season because it's a PR exercise to kind of not so much create positive PR, but just to make sure that there isn't a lot of negative sort of reports going the way of Chelsea for the rest of the year. And then I presume that the sort of the Abramovich and Emenalo and the rest of the managerial sort of structure at Chelsea will then quietly sit down and reconstruct in the summer.
It's funny that out of all we touched on it a little bit, of all the managers that have come in after they're the manager before them had been sacked, none of them are having the impact that those owners might have wanted. I don't think. Do you think any of them are? Allardyce, Klopp. I mean, it was a question beforehand. Allardyce, Klopp, Guards, Curtis, Hiddink.
I think Allardyce has done okay. I think he's brought in a few players. I don't know if we're going to talk about.
He's done okay, but they're still 19th.
I think with the case of those three lower tier managers,
the bottom three essentially.
Yeah, I think the damage has already been for all three of them. Actually, I think the damage had already been done by the time they came in.
They kind of inherited like broken goods, didn't they, and faulty goods, and had to try and piece them together.
Yeah, you could say that. I feel
that's the case for every team that's had a manager sacked. Liverpool and Chelsea certainly fall into that category as well.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of damage that just can't be rectified on its own. I think you need a transfer window, and actually I've been surprised by perhaps the lack of action in the transfer window for those teams so far.
Well, I think we will see it hot up in the last 10 days or so. I think that particularly with Guard, I mean, Allardyce, arguably Sunderland have done better under Allardyce than they might have done if Advocat had stayed. But I think particularly with Guard at the Villa, the confidence of everyone in the club when he came in was as low as it could possibly be. So the job of him to sort of motivate... I mean, people say about his record in the first 10 games, the job for him to sort of motivate that the entire sort of staff of the club is so difficult that I don't really blame him and sort of Allardyce and Curtis for the jobs that they've done so far.
Yeah. Well, can we just quickly bring it back to Everton and Chelsea?
Yeah.
Who do we think will finish higher out of Everton and Chelsea? Is a 4-point gap currently. Everton in 13th, Chelsea in 14th. Who do you think will finish higher out of the two, Jack?
I think Everton. I did a quick bit of stat digging up while we were talking there. Everton have dropped 11 points from leading positions since the end of November.
40 points for the top four.
That's since the end of November.
I thought you were going to say
40 points for some top four. That's quite an incredible number to lose.
And that's only in the last 10 games.
Keno, what do you think?
I think it will be Chelsea because of that reason, because I don't think Martinez will be able to coach that out of his players in a sort of short enough time span. And Chelsea,
does he want to, in a way?
Maybe, but if
in a weird way,
those numbers don't lie, and I think that Chelsea they have the experience of being solid, and I think they will be able to grind out enough results in a more frequent way than Everton. I think it will be close. It's a good question, but I think Chelsea may even sneak into the Europa League if they pick up.
Okay,
and they have to win the FA Cup for it personally.
Yeah,
shall we?
We'll go through that way as well.
Let's move on. There was a big Northwest derby this weekend. It was, I think from a neutral perspective, people find it to be quite dull. I don't know. I didn't think of it like that. I'm talking about Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1. Wayne Rooney on the hunt for 15 goals by this time. By the end of the season.
You've ruined Liverpool's hopes and dreams this year.
Well, I've brought back Wayne Rooney's form by merely suggesting that he's going to score.
You're basically sabotaging the Charlie Austin appeal.
Look,
you're sabotaging the Charlie Austin appeal by getting him to perform.
You suggested to Wayne Rooney.
Traitor.
All I'll say is, Simon Mignolet has been in goal for Liverpool again recently. Rooney's been captain on my fantasy team 2 weeks running. So
we can say Mignolet signed a 5-year deal with the club.
Well, I mean, I mean, let's talk about that. Well, let's just talk about the game first. So Liverpool, in my opinion, and I don't even think this is particularly biased, I think most people seem to have a similar or shared view, that for at least 80 minutes of that game, Liverpool were the better side, but didn't win. Whereas Manchester United, on the whole, I thought were pretty... Like, if Liverpool had won, I would have laid into United, but the fact they came out with a win makes it a little bit more difficult. But I do think they're pretty... Jack's already made it explicit. United are pretty shit, and still fifth. And it's kind of that Louis van Gaal mentality of, well, we don't need to look good while winning. And yeah, you're probably right. It's a fantastic result for Manchester United on the surface of it.
That is
a very difficult result.
That is the.
I think it paints over a lot of cracks.
I think that
United have in their side and problems.
Kino?
I feel like this now, like in winning a derby, it kind of, I think for the fans at least, it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on Van Gaal for the next few games, because it has been building up steadily. The more 0-0s they have, and I mean it's an okay result for United. I guess the points themselves and the fact it's against Liverpool, fantastic result. But I think looking at the actual performance there, I think most United fans would agree that they at least want to see United winning that midfield battle and looking like the dominant side going to Anfield. It's something that has been fairly commonplace, really, over the last 10 years or so.
I think to add balance, though, if a Fergie side had gone to Anfield and done the exact same thing, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
No.
It's what's gone on before is making us think that, oh, you might have won, but it wasn't pretty. I mean, Fergie would have taken a 1-0 away at Anfield every single time he'd ever gone there.
Yeah.
So in that respect, you don't really think about it in such a negative way. But with Van Gaal's track record this season, I think we kind of look into that a little bit more than we potentially should do.
In that situation, I mean, people have been ragging on Van Gaal's methods all season. In that sort of scenario, it works perfectly, and like
it works unless Liverpool score, and Liverpool did not have the quality to score.
That's true.
Now, whether that's good judgment by Van Gaal, or just an ineptitude within Liverpool's team, is kind of up for debate, because Liverpool lacks so much quality.
A combination of both, because I actually thought this result, other than the fact that it was a derby in a very big game in terms of pride, I think the result for Liverpool was fairly irrelevant, because it's not going to mean much in terms of your season, because you probably won't get top four.
Well,
they're probably obviously not going to go down. So I was looking more at the performance, and I was quite actually impressed by the way Liverpool played. We all know that right now Klopp doesn't have the quality in the squad, as you say, and particularly in the first 11, to sort of execute what he wants in the right way, and also just to provide a bit of quality in front of goal. Because Henderson, for instance, I know he's not. He was one of the ones running through and having a lot of chances. He put a really nice move wide midway through the first half, I think, or late in the first half, and they just don't seem, like you say, to have the quality to execute in the right way. But I thought that in general, the performance was quite good. Sacco, what did you think about the way he played? Because I thought defensively Liverpool looked a little bit better than they had done in recent weeks.
I think back to the Watford game and like Sacco's performance there, and in fact the defensive performance there, and it was a completely different kind of performance, I think, to this game. I think it's worth considering also the fact Liverpool's goal that they conceded actually came from a corner.
No, it was a free kick, more irritating.
It was a ball.
Kick?
I think it was over a corner or a free kick. It was a ball from out wide, from a dead ball, and
Can I talk about that? Because I actually want to sort of talk about that leading up to the free kick.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time in the game. I thought Liverpool looked very controlled throughout. Actually,
They did.
In terms of Sacco and Torre,
Yeah.
I thought Sacco and Torre were arguably our best two players on the pitch. They completely shut out anything United were throwing at them. Until the goal, obviously. But it's the first time, I think Milner may give it away. If someone in the midfield gives it away, and it's the first time we try and rush it. I think Henderson makes a run, the ball's not really on, Milner tries to play it and gives it away, and it was the first time it felt like we need to score, otherwise we're going to come out of this with a 0-0, and that would have been the tragedy of the situation. Actually, what ended up happening was we lost the ball, we were short at the back, and then we gave away a free kick. Now, obviously, from that resulting free kick, ball played in, Fellaini gets most headers for Fellaini are free headers, hits the bar, and Rooney slams home.
It's a common thing for Liverpool, though, isn't it? Home performances in big games where the goal doesn't come for the first kind of 70, 80 minutes, and then there's this anxiety that just seems to spread through the side.
So I don't agree with you. I don't think that does happen in big games. I think most big games at Anfield, Liverpool look the better side, score, and then kind of throw it away a little bit.
I actually think,
if it comes to that,
from a sort of outside view, I think that Liverpool tend to look good in the big games. Full stop. Actually, I'm thinking of was it the Arsenal game this year away where Liverpool played with a really, really high intensity for the first half an hour. So, and
then Arsenal just picked us off.
Yeah,
but
they have looked good in the big games, and it's particularly City away. That's what I'm thinking of.
I will agree with Jack that Chelsea, when Gerrard slipped, that did happen.
I think
what Jack's suggesting did happen.
I just think there are times where Liverpool, if it doesn't come their way, and when they have these dominant spells in matches and don't score, I don't know if it's a mentality thing.
It could come from the fans as well, and the pressure in the stadium.
I do think there are times where if Liverpool don't score early on in a game, they just seem completely unsettled on the pitch, and sometimes they kind of fight through that phase of the game. But if you watch Liverpool play, I can think of a few occasions, certainly this season, where Liverpool haven't scored early on, and they just stop playing for the next 60 minutes. If it doesn't happen in the first 30 minutes, it just doesn't happen at all.
As a fan who regularly sort of attends just home games in general, I think that is a home problem for a lot of teams.
I don't think Liverpool were guilty of that against Manchester United, though. I thought throughout the game we looked like we were trying to win it.
Yeah, no, I think
it boils down to Liverpool literally not having enough quality in the final third areas. You think about the times where Liverpool have been successful in these big games at Anfield. The big one that springs to mind actually is when we beat City in the run-in in the season that we finished second, and we had Coutinho on the pitch, Sturridge on the pitch, Sterling on the pitch, Suarez on the pitch. You look at what Liverpool had going forward this week. We had an inconsistent Roberto Firmino. Let's just be honest about him. Lallana, who for all his work ethic and try-hard attitude, doesn't really produce anything. And the same kind of goes for Jordan Ibe when he comes on. I think who else started? I think actually we played a 5, didn't we, with Firmino kind of floating?
Yeah.
But it's just you stick a few more good players, and yes, it's the old Sturridge debate, isn't it? And Keno, actually, you wanted to quickly touch on. I think it was you or Jack actually who wanted to touch on Benteke. That you don't necessarily think he's a Klopp man and might not see out January, never mind the season.
I mentioned that.
Jack.
I think at this point, Klopp has made up his mind about Benteke. I think and that might be harsh, and I know he said for a lot of players you've got to the end of the year. I think Klopp's given Benteke a few chances. If Benteke was performing in training, and showed Klopp something that made him want to be picked, it would happen by now because there is literally no competition for the striker position. But the fact that Roberto Firmino has been picked ahead of him, the fact that, games like United, normally, your record's kind of signing striker from the summer, he'd be in the team, no questions asked. But you've got Klopp here who's inherited this Rodgers signing. And I just think for Liverpool, Benteke, he's not playing that much and certainly not starting that many games. If he continues for the rest of the season like this, you're just not going to get any money back for him. At least at this point, he's not. If Klopp isn't going to play him this year, which it kind of seems like he's already made up his mind about him, then if he was to sell him now, he's going to get infinitely more money than he would do in the summer or preceding that. But for me, if Benteke doesn't play, regularly for the rest of the season, if I'm him, I'm thinking, well, I want to leave now because you've got players like Origi, Sturridge, who hopefully will be fit. There's talk about bringing in another striker like a Shane Long.
That's a good joke.
Balotelli's back from loan.
I think that I think you're right that Klopp may have already made up his mind on him. Not so much off form, but more off sort of style, the way just the type of player he is. It doesn't fit with the way that Klopp wants to play, and I think it's just sad from someone who watched him play for 3 years. By far the best striker I've seen at the Villa in 13 years of going. Just to see him go to a team, and I'm not talking bad on Liverpool at all or on Benteke.
I know what you're going to say. We underappreciate what he can actually do.
Yeah, no, but it's just sad to see him.
He
he went to the wrong team in the summer, essentially. I think if he'd have gone somewhere like a Chelsea, and not necessarily a team like Chelsea, but someone who played that same way, abroad or otherwise, he would be doing far, far better, playing more games and scoring more goals.
Yeah,
and it's frustrating.
That's going to be the frustration when he leaves Liverpool. That's what's going to happen.
It's frustrating as a fan of him as a player to see him play in a team that just for no sort of bad reason to either party just doesn't play the way that he wants to play. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Did Benteke thrive under Villa because you had wingers, or did it not matter? Because I feel like he lacks two wingers, like proper wingers playing for Liverpool.
I've sort of been watching him very carefully, like through bad runs of form and good runs of form 3 years, because often he was the only player on the pitch who sort of was worth watching. And I don't buy into the idea that he is a wing, like a a number 9 in the sense that you sort of you use wingers. He actually does make a lot of runs in between the sort of the fabled channel between the centre back and the full back. He looks for that a lot, in the same way that, and if I was comparing him to someone, in the same way that Diego Costa will do that. Not so much in the kind of nippy Aguero type way, but he will come from the other side of the field and sort of curve across into those channels. Obviously he's good in the air, and you can get a lot of joy out of just pumping it into the box to him. He's great at nodding it down, and he's a fantastic finisher with his head. But I feel like those sort of direct through balls from deep in the midfield that players like Fabregas like to play to sort of Costa, they are the kind of balls that he thrives on. We probably didn't play it enough, and you can see him getting frustrated when he makes those runs, and it looks exactly like it was at the Villa a lot of the time with him.
I feel like for Benteke, there's not enough confusion for the other team's defence. Liverpool play in such a kind of a floaty but static way, in that you know what's going to happen. The players are quite fluid in their movement. You look at players like Lallana and Firmino and Coutinho; they all do the same thing. But it's like there isn't someone suddenly making a bursting run down the line. And if it is, it has to be someone like Klein or Moreno. He hasn't got enough support in the areas where he needs it to be able to essentially create space for himself, because he can't do that because there's not enough movement ahead of him. So he's always the focal point. He's always been man-marked out of the game. People stick 2 players on him because we know that if he comes to Anfield and it's 70 minutes gone and we haven't scored yet, you can figure out what's going to happen. Stephen Corker was brought on again to go up front. But so yeah, I don't really have much more to say on the Liverpool United game. Jack, do you want to sum it up for us?
Oh, I want to talk about Benteke more, but I think in summary, United will be happy with the win. Good result. Sees them kind of maintain, some semi-decent league form, and they're still up there where they need to be at the end of the year, when it was potentially, I guess, a stumbling block, and they have leapfrog to West Ham. I think for Liverpool, I don't think the result's necessarily a surprise, nor do I think the manner of the results a surprise. I think the lessons that Liverpool could have learnt from this game are lessons that were kind of already known, and there isn't too much that can be taken away from it. I think... I don't know. My big worry for Liverpool is that if Firmino gets injured, who do Liverpool call upon? Because Benteke isn't fancied. I think Liverpool will sign a striker, be it for really cheap or be it permanently. But one thing I don't want to see Liverpool do is spend 10, 15 million pounds to bring in someone like Berahino.
I agree.
Just because they need a striker for the sake of it. I'd much rather, evaluate the squad for the rest of the year. If that means playing Benteke when we need to, fair enough. If he proves himself, fantastic. But, we don't need to spend money for the sake of it. You look at the players Liverpool spent money on. 60 million for Benteke and Firmino combined. That's mental now, isn't it? The amount of money that Liverpool have just pissed away over the last few years is ridiculous, and I think the last thing that anyone wants is to see that again as a kind of reaction, I guess, to this result, as well as kind of Liverpool's sinking league form at the moment in ninth place.
Should we move on, Ben?
Let's talk about a team that have spent very wisely. They brought in some fantastic midfielders. One springs to mind, scored a goal this weekend, actually. Fabian Delph at Manchester City. It was a 4-0 victory for the City team. Palace didn't play particularly... Pardew said it as well. Palace didn't play particularly badly. But City were just far more clinical. There were a few chances Palace had.
The midfield players in that team, you pick Fabian Delph, who...
Mate, he scored an absolute screamer.
Flagship. I thought that City that was a vintage City performance in the sense that arguably their 4 best attacking players, De Bruyne, Silva, Torre and Aguero, were absolutely unstoppable that game. They were fantastic. They walked the ball into the net between them twice, and assist. I can't remember. Obviously the Delph goal, and then there was the 4th.
Kelechi Iheanacho with the assist for Aguero.
It was
the first minute.
And Iheanacho actually played really well, and he started, which is quite interesting because he seems to. Pellegrini's starting to trust him more and more. It's quite nice. I know he's not English, but it's nice to see sort of a relatively homegrown City talent sort of get a bit of a chance.
He was signed 2 years ago.
Yeah, but
they play like City play a funny, because on Iheanacho. Sorry to sort of jump in, but again, I saw them a few weeks ago. It's interesting that they play like a 4-4-2 that becomes a 4-3-3 very quickly. It's very curious because Iheanacho and Aguero do play as a front 2, but they have either Sterling or De Bruyne on either side, kind of acting as a pivot to what they're about to do.
Pellegrini's played that system throughout his sort of managerial career in the last.
Yeah, he played it in Spain. I was going to say he played it in Spain.
He used it with Malaga a lot, and it actually took a lot of sort of Spanish, traditionally 4-3-3 teams by surprise. And it's
is that what essentially got Cazorla the move? I can't remember. Something
no,
like that.
because he was at Villarreal.
Was it a bit before that?
Yeah, it was before that. But that 4-4-2 is fantastic whenever you're playing a team that is those kinds of games where you're expected to beat a team. Obviously, City have enough quality in the midfield to play two there and flood the rest forward. The only time really that it comes unstuck is against the best teams in Europe in the Champions League, where it's a lot slower, and I feel like Pellegrini uses that at times, and the best results that City have had in Europe, particularly the Sevilla away game is the one that springs to mind, is when he ditches that. So it is fantastic in games like this, but he needs to keep getting rid of it when he needs to. But they were really impressive, and the rest, obviously, Delph played fine in his first start or second start.
Apparently, Delph played very well.
Yeah, he did look good. But yeah.
He also started against Norwich when I was there. Have I mentioned that?
Was he any good?
I went
only a few times.
Did he get booed?
A few hisses, which I don't really know why. I don't know what the Norwich fans have got to do.
I love that he got hissed. That's brilliant.
There's a few hisses though from one end. I think Delph might be a smarter signing than you hope it to be. You know.
Well,
I don't know. They highlighted that much of the day, and I was kind of nodding. So sorry about that.
Can I just say, yesterday I was doing some research for the show, looking at City's kind of page on BBC Sport. I saw City players in plane scare, on a runway, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, what's that? Click on it.
Oh, this is
apparently, after the Norwich game that you went to, in case you didn't know, Ben went to that game.
Yeah, I did go actually.
Yeah, there was 5 City players. I believe it was 5 City players, but they were on a plane going from obviously Norwich back up to Manchester, and it skidded off the runway.
I know that. Well,
yeah.
I wasn't sure. I'm not sure about the 5 City players. I know Company was definitely on the plane. I think he was with.
He was in good company.
About.
Yeah, Company was there, and I think a couple of his family members or something were on there, and it sort of skidded off the end. Best wishes to Vincent Company. He's had his injury problems.
Terrifying,
yeah,
really, isn't it?
I know. I would be absolutely.
I'm just checking the story now. Company's the only name mentioned.
Yeah. I think it was really terrifying, though.
Yeah,
terrifying.
No one was injured in the incident. A Norwich spokeswoman said. A woman from Norwich said. Delia said no one was hurt. It's fine. So, yeah,
can I just say a bit of sad news, and I'm hoping that this deal has gone through because I'm going to mention it. Is it Georgia Evans? I think he's been on loan at Walsall. He's a Mancunian, born and bred, gone through the City Academy, played at every single age group, been sold to Reading. Yeah, I think he played 1 minute for the City first team. Does make me a little bit sad. You know, you've got this player who's played for a number of years through all the youth levels. You know, you don't hear about that, particularly with City. And he was given 1 minute to try and make his mark on the football club in the first team on the pitch. Just don't think it's very fair. I'd love to know if any City fans agree, because he is a player who for a number of years was kind of touted as being a good talent.
It's sad, and it's indicative of the policy that City have pursued. I mean, they talk about how they want to sort of develop this sort of dynasty in... to rival United, and to do that you need to be producing homegrown players as well as these big sides.
I just want to check.
Can I add a bit of balance there? He might not have been good enough, so this might be far better for his career.
I should say this deal hasn't officially gone through yet. I heard about it on the weekend, but Sky Sports are reporting a deal has been agreed. So I guess my point is,
I guess my point is not so much about the individual. I've not seen him play, but it's that they spend. There's been a lot of sort of fanfare about how much money City is currently spending on their academy, the new facilities and the players that they're bringing through. None of them have gone in, and the reason I mentioned it,
and those that they do bring through and hail Iheanacho, who's played for 2 years.
I know. Yeah, I know. I heard what you said about Iheanacho, and he's the only. And it's a mistake that a lot of people will make when, in fact, like you say, he's been signed, arguably developed for 2 years. But you need the pure homegrown players, and if they're spending this money and they want to sort of improve the kind of the image of City from not just a team with a lot of oil money, but also with a kind of a culture of excellence around them, they need to start bringing through those players too, and it'll be interesting to see whether that does happen in the next sort of 5-6 years. But they're not doing too well about it at the moment.
Yeah.
Cameron Humphreys was on the bench.
Should we
I think he's 16 or 17 centre back talent.
Cheers, mate.
Can I just say, is Boney going to Swansea? Because he naturally played ahead of Boney, and I don't think Boney's injured. Tell me if I'm wrong. I can't find him.
Hang on, you've made a very quick jump there. Is he going back? I doubt it, thinking about the money.
I think it could be a loan.
What, back to Swansea?
Yeah, possibly.
Unlikely.
He's just off your
scoring
gut,
a few
Jack,
for
or
City.
what? Do you just think that might
I
happen?
just think City. Swansea have sold Shelvey for 12 million.
If Boney ends up going to Spurs, are you going to go, well, they wear white, so
No,
I was kind of right.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I just think that is a deal that I've heard murmurs about, and it's probably unlikely, but if it happens...
You destroyed my link. Speaking of Spurs, they've beat Sunderland 4-1. Quite convincing. And they're back to I would say their best, Kino. And you're, as we say every week, you're a big fan.
I mean, we don't need to spend too long on this. I just enjoyed Lee Casamol's attempt to... Lee Casamol is one of my least favourite Premier League players.
He's like a pretend hard man, though.
I enjoyed his attempt to clear what was a fairly slow-moving shot from Christian Eriksen on the line. Tried to knee it away and ended up just kneeing it back over his head.
He was quite disappointed. He looked quite sad.
I'll tell you who looked sadder, Kirchhoff, who made his debut.
The guy from Bayern.
Gave away a penalty. He just looked a bit lost,
really. Is that the same Kirchhoff from Bayern?
Yeah, they bought him on for Danny Graham though, Jack. And if you take Graham off the pitch, all I'll say is, Jack, and you can take this as you like. At the point that Danny Graham was removed from the field of play, I think it was 1-1. So, or maybe 2-1, but all I'll say is wasn't as bad as it ended.
Kirchhoff looked like someone who got lost on a night out in a city he wasn't familiar with when he went onto the pitch. That was kind of the approach he had. I could see him going up to the ball boys, asking them where he's meant to stand, kind of thing. He just looked, and I don't know if it was. I was about to say I don't know if it was nerves. Can a player really get nervous coming on when the club is 2-1? Down, it wouldn't be a nice. And you're away from home. And there's no expectation.
Jack, I know you live near Tottenham. It wouldn't be a nice place to get lost in, would it?
Mate, I don't live there anymore, but I did go past White Hart Lane for a number of years. I bet if I went back, I'd probably see him on the train. He's probably living there, going around in circles, learning the area.
Trying to get home from the weekend.
Yeah.
Still lost. Good win for Spurs, who looked like, top 4 candidates.
Top 4.
I'll give it to
top 4 write-ins, I'd say.
Do you think so?
I was disappointed Eriksen didn't get the to take the penalty for a hat-trick. Well, actually, I had money on Kane to score.
He was also my fantasy captain, so no, I'm not disappointed that Eriksen didn't get his hat-trick.
That's annoying. Who's top of our fantasy league, boys? Do we know? Or
I know I'm ahead of Keno. That's the important thing.
I'm talking about our sort of personal one rather than the ForTheFans one, but I will get both up just to nod to it. Would you two like to talk about Charlie Austin's new club, Jack?
Delighted. I mean, they don't look like they need goals. So if Liverpool want to sign him in the summer, I'll have that.
Should we quickly chat about the game first and then get on to the big story of the week?
I think the big story of the week is more important. But yeah, 3-0. I mean, they're going to be happy with that. West Brom
are an incredibly boring and defensive team that should really have scraped a 0-0 from this game, but Southampton put them away.
I enjoyed it.
I'm happy about that.
I just enjoyed it, really.
Just good bit of ad-lib in there. Charlie Woggy still top of the fantasy league with 1,255 points.
That is a very high total, actually, because I think we're all performing.
Matthew Harmon, not too far. What? Sorry, Keane?
We're actually performing quite well, I think, in general this year. There's not been not been too many sinking stones.
All I'll say is there's a certain member of this podcast who rounds out the top 10 this week. In number 10.
It's me.
Dr. Benji FM. Well, Dr. Benji FC, actually.
Who's that?
Casual. That'd be me. It's currently, I've got 1,231 points. Then a friend of the show, James Taylor, doing very well in our private league. And then a 3-point lead between you two. Can
I just say, I will be overtaking Keno because Sanya's got to come out and Target's got to come in, and Target got 11 points.
Is Jack has gone onto the fantasy page to discover who's ahead out of him and Keno.
I've just seen that, but
Keno is a 3-point lead.
I've not gone on the website. I'm not worried. That's fine.
3-point lead for Keno at this point. So,
is there a forfeit for which one of us comes bottom? Because it's going to be Callum, so. Maybe getting playoff tickets to go with the Villa players next year.
Ozil didn't play, so Font will come in for Keno and add another 6 points to his total. So,
but I'll be ahead by 2. No, 1 or 2.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, this is all if and buts now, isn't it? Oh, actually I didn't have
Ozil going to come in as well.
I didn't have Ozil, so I'll have Wes
Morris went
Houlihan
off.
come on and give me 2 points.
Fancy
Okay, well,
football
sorry.
chat with For the Fans. For the Fans.
Can I just say, Ward Prowse, beautiful free kick. I'm not sure why he was taking the penalty in the 35th minute when he'd only scored one senior goal before that, but it was a good penalty.
He's a very, very underrated dead ball. Well, I guess not underrated, but I feel like people...
Beckham-esque.
Yeah, he's a
Beckham-esque.
fantastic striker with dead ball. I just said about how Lee Cattermole's probably my least favourite player in the Premier League. West Brom, not obviously they are local rivals, and I dislike them because of that, but they're also one of my least favourite teams to watch in the league. They are dreadful. They'll stay up.
Yeah, I gave him a slating the other week. But,
I know quite a lot of West Brom fans, and they all despise Tony Pulis and what he's doing.
I mean, to be fair, they're doing better than Villa, aren't they?
It's a very special kind of, it's a very depressing sort of purgatory that Tony Pulis leaves you in, because you're never going to go down, so that's fine. But you also don't really know what you're living for, because he doesn't give any joy.
That is ruthless.
As a club,
it's like a marriage where after a few years it's just gone a bit stale. There's no excitement. She's got no desire left.
And I think
I
genuinely think I would rather be on the emotional roller coaster of this season than just being a West Brom fan.
It's not really a roller coaster though. It's been on the ground for like the last 20 weeks.
It's Dodgems, isn't it? If it's going to be a fairground ride, it's probably Dodgems.
Just sort of
it's a ghost train. It's going to end with you getting off with tears.
One huge smash from another. Just
you're letting a child control the car though, Kino. So really, it's just a bullying exercise.
And I've been on this bumper car for 5 years.
You've called it a bumper car there. How
Dodgems.
Traditional.
Yeah,
Dodgems. Roller Coaster Tycoon has taught me it's Dodgems. And
Charlie Austin, Jack, signed for Southampton.
Delighted. £4 million. I mean, we paid a little bit more of that in marketing to get him this move.
I would say 10% of the deal came to For the Fans. Thank you, Southampton.
I just hope that when he scores, he lifts his shirt in sort of homage to us.
And
my favourite bit is it David Gold, the West Ham chairman?
Yes.
He came out on Twitter and for a hissy fit, I think because Austin turned West Ham down. The reason I say that is because he was complaining about the fact that Austin, as he claimed, is on £100,000 a week, which I think is bullshit.
David Gold,
no, he's not though. He's not.
David Gold, the unsavoury partner of unsavoury chairman David Sullivan, once broke down in his Rolls Royce about 200 yards from my house. There's a little story for you. When he was chairman of Birmingham.
Did you go over and offer him a cup of tea or anything?
No, because at that time he was chairman of Birmingham City, and
well, you could have spiked it. We could have done a John Terry Keno in there.
And he was sitting on the bonnet, looking quite sort of miffed, which I think you would do.
I like the idea that you went down the road 200 yards to go visit him and see him.
No, because we'd driven. We were just coming. We were leaving the house, and he was there.
But anyway, Charlie Austin, delighted. I mean, he's coming into the side. If Shane Long goes, him and Pele are going to tear up the league. But actually, I thought when I first saw this transfer, I was like, great fee. A little bit confused though as to why it's happening now and like why it's Southampton. But then I thought about it a little bit more. Grazio Pele going to be 20, not even that, 31, I believe, in the summer.
And he's not been in the best
probably
form
on his way out.
Either.
They've got Mane, who like tore apart the league for like the first few weeks and then for a hissy fit and allegedly wanted to go, and I feel like he's now this obscure player again. He scored the really fast hat-trick.
I feel like he's this obscure player again.
I just feel like for example, today he got subbed off.
What are you feeling, Jack? What are you feeling, mate?
I feel like with Mane had the potential. Didn't he get linked with United in the summer?
He's still being linked to United. He's still very good.
I mean,
still a footballer.
Yeah.
So,
what I'm saying is he's not performing. Shane Long could be on his way out. Pele, old. This is Austin's time to shine.
The door is open for your man, Charlie Austin.
I mean, the door's been opened and slammed shut behind him. He's in.
Jack, the question every listener wants a prediction for.
How many goals
will Charlie Austin score from now?
How far ahead
will
will Charlie Austin be of the second player in Premier League's top scorers?
16 games left.
I thought you were going to say goals.
No. 16 games left. He'll get 9 or 10. He'll average more than one every other game. Calling it now.
Is that in the League or Cup as well? Or?
So I think he'll get more though. So,
he'll average more than a goal every other game. That's my prediction.
I mean, it's not.
I'm not being funny. He scored 18 goals or whatever it was with Sandro and Joey Barton providing. Like,
Yeah,
he can turn anything into gold.
We all know how good he is. Can we just very briefly, you've not put this in the running order, Keen, I'm disgusted. John Joe Shelvey made his debut for Newcastle, and Steven Gerrard-esque. He actually made some very nice passes. He was a key part to that winning performance, I dare say.
Only misplaced 5 passes.
He only misplaced 5 passes?
He did indeed.
It's not bad. They could drop back into the bottom 3 if Swansea do a job on Watford, who are in questionable form. But yeah, Shelvey could be a very clever bit of business by Steve McLaren. Thoughts?
Yes. He looks like the player that Newcastle are lacking. I feel like they lack someone who cares. I look through their squad, and I can't help but feel it's kind of a bit full of mercenaries. There's not many players there who are English and have played for Premier League sides. I'm looking for it, and maybe Colback is the only other player. And
they like Colback.
And do you count Rob Elliott?
I don't know if they do like Colback. I think they're forced to like him a bit because he's one of their only English players.
And he tries.
I think Shelvey is basically an upgrade of Jack Colback.
I think to sort of answer your question, I think that it's a very steep transfer fee, but I suppose you're paying the English young premium, which seems to sort of apply.
Yeah, well, Charlie Austin, he's escaped that. He's of age.
I know he has. So
$4 million for Austin, bargain.
How old is Austin? 26.
I think he's a bit older than that, 27, 28.
Charlie Austin.
Charlie Austin, 26. Thank you very much.
Don't give him any more excuse to talk about him.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's just, yeah, you're right. Move on fast.
Love Charlie Austin.
Very briefly, Stoke Arsenal board draw. Not a bad point for Arsenal, but I think the Stoke fans. Well, I want to sort of stick up for Stoke fans in regards to. I don't think all of them are booing Aaron Ramsey, but some of them are, and it's really stupid. I'm condemning it.
I agree.
What's the reason for booing him? Because of when he broke his leg?
Because Ryan Shawcross broke his leg.
Ryan Shawcross broke his leg, so we'll boo him.
That literally makes no sense.
What a pussy. That's what a dive. It's daft. Keno, I don't really want you to talk about it, but we'll briefly touch on the fact you got a point to Leicester.
Can I give you my thoughts on Leicester?
Yeah, is Mahrez struggling due to the fact I've put him in my fantasy team?
You've put him in at the wrong time. Maybe you're anticipating like the sort of the rise again because...
Well, no, because since I've put him in, he's actually been massively underperforming. I did apologise on Twitter to those that have been enjoying the fruits of Mahrez's labour. I wrecked it.
Who scored the goal though for Leicester? Okazaki.
I thought that, like you say about Mahrez, it's a good point. Just quickly on the Villa, fine, good point for us. Sort of, the least I would have hoped for a few weeks ago. The most even. And but Leicester, watching them on Saturday night, put it into perspective how good a job Ranieri's done, because we beat that same team pretty much 12 months ago, bar maybe Okazaki and Kante, 3-1 quite comfortably. It was pretty much the same players.
Yeah, but you had Sherwood, mate.
We did, that's true. It could have actually been the end of Lambert, but either way, we
surely not.
Pretty much the same 11s played that same match, and we won 3-1. And it's amazing to see how he sort of maximised the talent of the team, and not just in footballing ways. One thing that was really noticeable was the way that, and I tweeted this, the way that Leicester consistently throughout the game sort of commit really low levels of like foul play, little niggly fouls. The ball will get rolled away quite often, throw-ins, free kicks, etc. And they do everything to. And Vardy's, obviously, we all know he's a sort of a key proponent of this. They do everything they possibly can to get those little advantages. I wish we'd do that in a way, because it might actually help in some circumstances. But some of it was quite cynical. There was a lot of, I know this has been one of the trademarks of Leicester this year, a lot of sort of long balls into the channels, which fortunately we had the players to deal with this time. Leicester got played quite well. And I don't want to say I was underwhelmed, because it was the first time I'd seen them in the flesh this year, after their incredible run. I don't want to say I was underwhelmed, but it made me appreciate what Ranieri's doing, because it's obviously bar one or two, it's quite an ordinary group of players. Mahrez was pretty much anonymous, and he came off after... it was very close after half-time, maybe 5-10 minutes. He took him off quite quickly. Vardy was quiet, other than when he tried to lamp Jody and Lescott. And, it was a fairly dull game, and the most interesting thing was just sort of to see how ordinary they were.
Can I point out that Keno said, Villa beat them 3-1 and it's testament. I'm not denying Leicester haven't improved.
Oh no, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there was a Villa team that did have Benteke and Delph there.
I can't remember how the exact game went. Actually, we might have been missing him, but because it was about this time last year when he was injured.
Bear with me, folks.
Yeah, let's look this up.
Right, what were the other games going on at the weekend?
Well, Bournemouth beat Norwich there 3-1, and Afobe, he's a new player.
3-0, not 3-1.
3-0, sorry, no, 3-1 was the Villa score, sorry, I had it on the mind. Yes, but Bournemouth with a very good win. Actually, there was a stat on the BBC, thank you for your research, that Mark Pugh was far more in the game than Matt Jarvis. Matt Jarvis obviously has made his move to Norwich permanent, and I think Norwich fans are quite pleased with that. But Bournemouth, the home side, get themselves another win.
Obviously,
and their survival triumph is moving ever closer.
I think the Afobe signing is really good, and for quite a good price as well. I obviously, living where I do, I know a lot of Wolves fans as well, and they were all absolutely furious when they let him go in January. It was and for 9 million for a striker who really
not 10, but either way,
it was 9 or 10. Yeah,
a lot of money, whatever it was.
It was a lot of money for that level, but I feel like if he can keep that form going in the Premier League. Is he English? Does he qualify? Is he in English for a player like
English.
that? Yeah,
he started at Arsenal, didn't he?
Yeah, I know exactly. I wasn't sure about allegiance, but for a player like that, that fee could double quite easily. So Bournemouth have made a pretty good bit of business there, and yeah, he's a sort of well-rounded player. I've seen him a few times playing for Wolves this year. Obviously it's in the Championship, but I think that's the perfect replacement for a player like Wilson. He plays in a very similar way, physical but sort of mobile and skillful at the same time.
Sorry, I've got the Leicester Villa result. I feel like you've been waiting for it. Was it the FA Cup game you're referring to?
Possibly, yeah.
It was 2-1. Benteke and Delph both died. Carry on.
What was in the league at home?
I don't remember. Callum, I could barely find it, mate.
I will say, a phobia for £10 million, I'm not denying that's a bad piece of business. In fact, I was thinking about this today. I know Charlie Austin's contract was running out at the end of the year, but £4 million seems like a steal, regardless of his wage demands, when you see Naismith going for 8.5 or 9 million from Everton to Norwich. And I think even the Naismith deal makes this Afobe deal look pretty decent.
Yeah. No, I still think that's a lot of money for Afobe. I think any team from the Premier League that buys a championship striker for around 10 million, that's a lot of money.
David Nugent,
you don't see it very often.
Did Nugent come to the Premier League? Dean Ashton did, and that didn't work, did it, from Crewe?
Well, no, I would say it didn't work. He went to Norwich and did relatively well. Then Norwich made a massive profit on him. Only overtaken recently.
Norwich did get relegated.
Yeah, but that happens sometimes.
It does, but
they're a young side. But Dean Ashton was only like 21 at the time. Should be worth noted and worth a note. I think that's pretty much us covered in terms of the Premier League matches. Have we got any Twitter questions? I know we've got one or two that we've kind of answered throughout the show, just in talking, really.
Get them up. Get the questions. I'm ready.
All right, I'll question for Keno. Alfie just asked, when will Villa win again? Keno.
Tomorrow night against Wickham.
Who'd you play? Wickham.
Home.
Ah, yes. They should probably win that.
And as silly as that sounds, if we can maybe get that into 2 or 3, 4-0, it will be very good for our confidence. But I think
you could lose it.
We've got a question, boys, and I'm going to throw this at you. You're not prepared in the slightest, but it's okay because it's like the first thing that comes to your mind, essentially. One word to sum up the Premier League teams so far this season. We'll do back and forth between the two of you because I think that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Can I start? I won,
yeah.
so.
Arsenal.
Flops.
The top of the league.
Sorry, I have to say this because I said they can fish outside the top 4.
Yeah, but but currently so far.
Defensive. They've done well defensive. Check. All right, say check. I know it's meant to be the first one. Check.
Keno, Leicester.
I thought you were... Are we going from the top of the league?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a reason you're second.
Yeah.
Jack, City.
Physical.
Jack.
Attacking.
Tottenham, Keno.
Consistent.
Manchester United.
Draw.
Boring.
West Ham. Keno, in turn.
Sorry.
West Ham.
Inconsistent as well.
Jack, Stoke.
Shaqiri.
Palace.
Pardew.
Liverpool.
Goalless.
Southampton.
Angry.
Everton.
choke.
Watford.
Front,
I mean,
4-4-2.
There's no dictionary being used here, folks, let me tell you.
Front two. I know that's
West Brom, Jack.
Oh,
Boring.
Chelsea.
hilarious.
Bournemouth.
Injury.
Norwich.
Oh, is this me?
Yes.
I don't really care for Norwich.
Newcastle.
Angel of the North.
Swansea.
Sad.
Sunderland.
Relegated.
Villa.
Is that the
I
word?
don't-
Is that the word? Is that the quote?
That's good enough.
Laughter or tears, I don't know.
Thank you for the question, Luke. I'm sorry for the answers.
That's quite a nice way to finish.
We
actually.
tried.
I mean, shall we end it there? Thank you for some of the other questions. Hopefully, we've covered them throughout the show. I think for most of them we have. Han Solo, thank you for the question. The second, Jack.
It's
I
true.
think
All
we've
of it.
covered the commission on what's happened there. And Ricky, you asked what's wrong with Swansea. Managerial changes at arguably the wrong time or not the right time. Either way, make up your mind. I think that pretty much brings us to the end. If you've enjoyed the show on YouTube, please leave a like. If you enjoyed it on iTunes, feel free to go and rate the show on there. We're on Twitter all the time, at ForTheFans Show. If you've got any questions you want to ask us throughout the weeks, then please do. We like to really abuse Keno with Villa-based jokes, don't we, Jack? That seems to be
And
what
less
happens over
Scott-related trivia.
there. Of course. I hope you enjoyed the feature earlier on. Thank you for
That will
letting
go
me talk
down
about that again.
in the annals of great feature answers. I think.
Was it the best feature we've had so far?
I won, so yes.
Okay, brilliant. We'll see you again. From Jack and Keno, say goodbye, boys.
Goodbye.
Cheerio.
And from me, Dr. Bench FM, we'll see you again soon. We love with care. Goodbye.